What's up guys, Winter Kills here, and welcome to a brand new test hand video. I've gotten quite a few requests for this one. I know we just did the pure Mech Knight test hands, but you guys want to see the updated test hand video for Invoked Mech Knight, which is another very good build of a Mech Knight strategy. Although I prefer pure Mech Knights a little bit better than Invoked, just because of consistency. But Invoked Mech Knight is still one of my favorites just because I love Mech Knights, I love Invoked, and lo and behold, they work perfectly together. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Of course, this is the Shaddoll build, which I don't think I've done a test hand version for. We'll just run it through like we normally do. And before we get started, I want to mention a quick shout out to our sponsor over at Imperium Duelist for hooking us up with some amazing playmats and sleeves, dice, calculator cases, etc., etc. Any really good gaming accessories for card games in general. I highly recommend you guys check them out for amazing quality sleeves and mats and things like I said earlier. A link to their website can be found down in the description below alongside a discount code WinterKills10 off, which you can use to save 10% off your entire order at checkout. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to use this token or field center here, and I'm going to place it in sort of like random spots to simulate the one card our opponent has to work with, whether it'll be in the extra monster zone or here or here. Now, somebody did leave in the comments a few days ago a good suggestion for like a different type of test hand videos where we sort of look at some of the best boards that can be made by some of the best decks, and we try to play into them with some of these going second decks we have, which I thought was a pretty cool idea. It's just I'm trying to figure out a good way to sort of display that and make it easier to watch. And, you know, sort of cycle through all the best meta decks ending boards like Sky Striker, Pendulum, Guard Dragon, you know, things like that. Salmon Great, and just see with a given hand if we're capable of being able to play through those boards. So I thought that was a pretty good idea, something I'll probably look forward to do, you know, look into doing at some point in the future. Just let me know if you guys want to see that. If anybody has any suggestions on how to set that up. I've kind of got some ideas, but if anybody else wants to chime in, feel free to. But let's go ahead and draw our first hand here. We're going to do mostly going second because this deck really strives to go second, and I think you should be constantly trying to go second with this deck. Or else, you know, going first is probably something you're only going to want to do if your opponent makes you, and then that's where your side deck will probably win you most of your games when you have to go first. Because the artifact engine works exceedingly well in any Mech Knight strategy because of secrets, and you can just keep reviving your artifacts during your opponent's turn, or revive it the next turn or the following turn after that, just because like of World Legacy Secret, and it's a pretty good strategy if you ask me. So this is our hand. We opened double Meltdown, double Invocation, Yellow Star, and Instant Fusion. This is a bit of an interesting hand here. I did bump Invocation back up to 3 because I did a test hand prior to starting this video, and I banished both of my invocations, so I decided to put a third one in. I also cut Indigo for the third invocation. I also cut a Called By for a Shaddoll Falco, because I think having more than one Shaddoll, or like more targets in the deck to be able to fuse with, is important, because like I don't want to be drawing too many dead Shaddoll, so I added a 1 Falco because that card can sort of like help recycle your Shaddoll stuff, and reset cards like Construct and Beast, so which I think is pretty good and worth to play. So let's go ahead and get started here with the Magic Meltdown. And somebody also pointed out if you have Magical Meltdown up, they actually can't Ash your Shaddoll Fusion, I believe, because that'd be negating the summon. I'm not entirely sure if that would 100% work, but if there's any ruling aficionados in the comment section, feel free to chime in. But yeah, we're going to start with Meltdown. We'll go grab Alistair. We already have 2 Invocation, but let's go ahead and grab the third one. We're basically stocked on Invocations for the rest of the game at this point. So, I mean, that is what it is. I mean, we got cards to set now at that point. But yeah, let's say this token over here is a card in their main monster zone that is available for us to work with. So what I'd probably do here is set this, and then we could special summon the Yellow Star, just to sort of build board presence. Now, one thing we could do from here is either link into Al Mirage, and then link into something else. But I feel like with this given board, actually, here I'm going to play Instant Fusion. Like, if this card is a threat, we'd play Instant Fusion 100%. We'll play the Instant Fusion. We'll go for Thousand Eyes. And if this was like a Colossus, like you could just start your turn with this. If it's a Titan, you can bait it out, or if it's a Jackal King, you can bait it out even before you go into Alistair. But let's say we take this card over here. And then we can link into, I would say, Link Karibo. And then we'll link the Link Karibo and these into... Can either do... Yeah, let's do Link Karibo and this into... let's see here. Let's go into Alistair Invoker of Madness, which we actually can't do that because they're both darks. So we'll actually need to link off into Almirage first, and then link the Almirage and the Link Karibo into Invoker of Madness. This will be gone back to their side of the field, whatever it may be, whatever that card ended up being. Now from here, we could just go into another set card here, still another invocation. We could just go into a Mechaba, which I think would be the best thing to do. So Mechaba like that. We'll send this to the grave or banish this and this. And then we'll use the invocation effect to recycle itself back to the deck, add back Alistair. And now we have Invoker of Madness and Mechaba. Now, if I was playing Book of Law, we could go search that right now, but we'd have to ditch another card in our hand, which I really don't want to do, and I feel like we also don't have the need to do it. Just because, like, we're not OTKing with or without it, like without the Book of Law, because we swing over something here, and then we swing for this, and then we kind of just pass and sit on a monster / spell negate, and hope that isn't enough, or hope it's enough really to stop whatever opponent has next turn. And if it is, next turn we draw a Call by the Grave. We have a follow-up here for another search, possibly link into like a BLS or a Boral Sword or something. I mean, this is kind of a slow turn, to be fair. I mean, yeah, kind of a slow turn there. No, not too many Mech Knight plays, not too many other extenders with that one. Just kind of a weird hand. But still, nonetheless, I mean, it's standard Invoke plays if you ask me. So let's go ahead and shuffle up, and we'll go ahead and do another test hand. All right, so I've shuffled, and I've moved the sort of placeholder into another spot. Let's say it's in this extra monster zone over here. And we've opened Shaddoll Fusion, Invocation, Secrets, Meltdown, and Ash. And our 6th card is Ibli, which is actually not too bad. So let's say we went ahead and ashed them, and we negated something. Maybe it was like a Pendulum Call or something. Who knows? Or it was an Engage that was added back off of Kagare. It's really, really could be anything. So, with this hand, I would definitely start with the Meltdown, 100%. That's a pretty obvious choice. And then from there, we'll grab Alistair. And then from here, we'll grab another Invocation. This is why I was always skeptical of playing more than, like, 2 Invocation, because it just seems like I always draw the card without Alistair. Most of the time, anyways. But it's like a necessary evil. Like, you need to see the card in most situations. Like, you just really need to see Alistair more often, but you definitely want to be able to have multiple copies just in case it does get banished off of your desires. So from here, I'm probably going to link into Almirage, and since our opponent's sort of placeholder card that they have, let's say it's in the extra monster zone, we're going to go ahead and use the Shaddoll Fusion, which may or may not be protected by the Meltdown. I'm not 100% sure on the rulings. It says the activation of your cards and effects that include an effect that fusion summon a monster cannot be negated. Yeah, so they can't negate this with Ash. So yeah, that's good. Your card is pretty much immune to Ash. That's nice to have. So we'll send Trick Clown and Beast, and then we're gonna basically really plus off of this. The Shaddoll engine is just such like a powerful pack-a-punch engine in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do Construct 2, Beast 1, just because I want to be able to deck them a little bit before we draw. So I'm gonna send that Falco here if I could find it, and it's on the next card on the top of the deck. All right, isn't that funny? Let's go ahead and cut the deck now, and we'll draw a card. Draw into Blue Sky, and then we'll use Falco effect to set itself back to its side of the field. So yeah, Falco's nice just because it's sort of adding this sort of like, not only are we building an offensive board, but we're also building a defensive board, because if this would get flipped face up, we can set any, you know, Shaddoll monster in our graveyard, which is really good, because we can get Construct back, we can get Beast to use its draw effect, so it helps us to sort of stay in the game a bit. And then we'll also use the Trick Clown effect. I almost forgot about that. So we'll take the 1,000, and then you can see we're starting to build a pretty impressive board. This is face down, should be. Now from here, I'm definitely going to link these two into a copy of Invoker of Madness, just like that. We can't use this extra monster zone because it is occupied by our opponent, so we do have to go over here. But Actually, I probably shouldn't set that there. I should probably leave this open. Just because if a possible Mech Knight play does come up like this. So we'll use blue sky to search for purple. Find them. There's a purple right there. And now I think it's time we go for a possible invoked play. We're probably just going to fusion for a... probably just fusion for a Mechaba. Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing to do. So we'll fusion for the Mechaba. We'll banish this and the Alistair there. And then we'll summon Mechaba. And then we'll use the invocation to add back Alistair and recycle the invocation back into the deck. Now, as it stands, our field is pretty strong. We have a set invocation here, so we could technically resolve it again if we were able to sort of link into another monster, which I guess technically we could. We could technically summon, like... actually, we need a card that has one down arrow, like Unicorn, which, I mean, I guess I'm playing Underclock Taker as well, but I really don't kind of want to link into that, just because I feel like it's a bit of an overextension that's kind of unnecessary. But from this point... we can basically just go into battle phase. Like, if we no, technically we could set this because we do have room for purple. So let's use purple, banish purple. Let's go grab indigo because we're gonna have secrets anyways. So we'll grab indigo, and then we'll special the indigo here. And like, even if they've stopped some of these plays, like, we still have some resources left over to work with, like extra invocation. We can make more Mech Knight plays if we wanted to. But this is a pretty solid board, if you ask me. We still have 2 cards left in hand. The Ibli at this point is just discard fodder for negation. We could have started our turn with this if we really wanted to, because I think we opened blue sky alongside of this, or maybe we drew blue sky off the... I think no, we drew blue sky off of the beast. But this is a really solid board, as you can tell, with the option here to be able to link into a Boral Sword if we wanted to. So we could just link those 4 away. I would go with. Or Boral Sword, and we could actually, at this point with the Boral Sword, fusion again by banishing the Al Mirage and getting rid of the Alistair, sending that to the graveyard, and summoning out a Purgatrio. And at this point, we have lots of damage. We have lots of game on our field. We still have a monster negate for our Mecha, but with this being in hand, we still have this to be able to revive either Beast or Indigo or blue sky, but next turn we can negate something over here, and that's really about it, but it's still a negation nonetheless. But yeah, that's a really solid board if you ask me. And let's go ahead and hope we can get more of those going on in this video, and let's go ahead and shuffle up and do another test hand. Alright, so the deck has been shuffled, and while I was shuffling, I was thinking about the Alistair link. We are playing it, but we're not really playing it for any reason other than just being a generic link too. So like, because on any summons we make with any fusion plays, we just can't get Book of Law because I'm not playing it. But I think I might add it back in. I just don't know what I'd cut. Maybe I'd drop instant fusion down to 2, or maybe I just cut Called by the Grave completely. I'm not entirely sure, because I feel like a lot of people have like mixed feelings on Called by the Grave. I see a lot of lists that play 3. I see a lot of lists that play none. But I just don't know. So yeah, we're going to do another going second hand here. That's our starting 5, so we do have an Ash Blossom, so let's say we exhaust that. And we draw Trick Clown for turn. We have Desires, we have Red Moon, Called By, and Alistair, so that's a pretty good hand. I'm going to start with the Alistair, and I'm going to go ahead and grab Invocation before I go ahead and resolve the Desires. Now, I put the placeholder sort of in the center, but if we draw Shaddoll Fusion, there is a decent chance that it's probably going to be live, depending on what we're playing against. I mean, most of the meta decks, if they're having a good productive turn, they're going to be going into their extra deck. But yeah, let's go ahead and use Desires now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Let's see what we banished. Invocation, Mech Knight, Blue Sky, Meltdown, Shaddoll Fusion, Meltdown, Ibli, Terraforming, Nightfall, Dragon, Instant Fusion. That's actually not too bad. And let's see what we drew. Ghost Ogre and Secrets. Not the best draws. Not the best draws at all. But we'll make it work, I suppose. So from here, we're going to link into the Al Mirage, just to give ourselves a down arrow to work with right off the bat. We'll put that there. And let's see what else we got here. We have a Ghost Ogre in hand still. We don't have we do have a readily available light monster. It is in our hand, which we can actually make use of via fusion. So we'll go Invocation, we'll send that to the grave, we'll banish the Alistair, we'll go for the Mechaba, and then we'll pay the 1,000, we'll summon out the Trick Clown, right there. And then from here, we'll use the effect of Invocation to recycle the Alistair back to our hand and put itself back into the deck. Like that. When we were able to draw Shaddoll Fusion off that, we'd had a really productive turn on our hands. So, from here, we can link into Mech Knight of the Morning Star. I would probably go with... we actually can't do that. I don't have a Mech Knight on board yet. So, this is probably where placing, like, understanding your zone placement matters with Mech Knight. So, like, if I would have had the foresight to understand that Almirage is going to point to the center, and if our one card is right here, I basically blocked myself from putting this Red Moon. So I guess it would have been better to put this over here, so this arrow is going this way, so this stays open for a zone to play a Mech Knight. So I guess we'll do that. We'll set... actually, that still puts us in a weird position. We can't really set secrets, because if we go for Morningstar, I guess, like, we're going to need to put a Mech Knight on board, and then we're also going to need to discard this, which really doesn't get us anywhere. It's just kind of doing it for the sake of doing it, so I guess leaving this over here doesn't matter too much. I think at this point, it would probably just be best to pass. As weird as that sounds, I think at this point, it'd probably just be best to, like... I mean, maybe we could link into a Link 2, but, like, there's really no point in doing that at this time. Yeah, maybe we could just do this. We'll link these into Invoker of Madness. Then we'll set the secrets, special summon the Morning Star, and just call it there, I guess. And just put some damage on that way. And then next turn we have a Ghost Ogre, we have a Callby that we can set, and a Monster Negate. And we have this as well. We don't really have any targets in grave, but if these get cleared, we can revive them. And then we're drawing another Meltdown for turn, which isn't too good, but nonetheless, we'll take it. Another Alistair to the hand definitely can't hurt. So yeah, let's go ahead and shuffle this one up and start a new one. Like I said, this is like one of the reasons why I like Pure Mech Knight better than Invoked, because like this deck has so much reliance on seeing cards like Alistair or Meltdown and like Shaddoll Fusion in order to like make everything work really, really well. And Mech Knight doesn't really have that, like Pure Mech Knight. It's just a much more, you know, I feel like focused strategy, I guess. It doesn't rely on a lot of other things to make the deck work. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle here. We'll go ahead and do another test hand. All right, so I've shuffled the deck. Actually did a quick pile shuffle, and I've moved the placeholder into the other extra monster zone this time. And let's see what we can draw into. The Blue Sky, Indigo, Instant Fusion, Purple, and Ash Blossom. Say we Ash them in our opening 5, and we're drawing Ghost Ogre for turn. Not the best draw, absolutely not, but let's go ahead and set this and go for Blue Sky and use his effect to grab a Mech Knight. I'm going to go ahead and grab Red Moon since we are, or no, yeah, I'm going to grab Red Moon since we already have Indigo and Purple. Now, if there was a back row threat, I'd probably grab Yellow, but I'll just grab Red Moon for now. Now, at this point, we're probably going to need to Instant Fusion, and we'll go for either Winda or... Let's go for Winda here, actually. Let's make things a little bit interesting. Let's Instant Fusion out for Winda. And let's go ahead and link into Morningstar. And let's go ahead and use his effect on summon to discard a Mech Knight or World Legacy card. And we'll go ahead and discard the... Let's discard the Red Moon. Let's grab Succession, our searchable Monster Reborn. I think you, if you know what I'm trying to set up right now. That's why we Instant Fusion out the window. So let's go ahead and set this, summon this, move it over. And let's go ahead and summon this and use its effect. We'll grab Blue Sky for next turn as a good follow-up. And let's go ahead and use the effect now of Succession to revive a monster in our grave to a Zone A Link monster points to. And we're going to go ahead and revive the El Shaddoll Winda. Now our opponent is locked into only special summoning once per turn. We have an Ogre, and we have the ability to sort of dodge attacks with the Morningstar and the Indigo Eclipse setup, which isn't terrible. We didn't see any Alistair, and we didn't see any Shaddoll stuff, so course, our board is going to look a little less, you know, in comparison to that other turn we had, that, like the second test hand we did. That was nuts. But then we could just go battle phase and just start swinging and put on decent amounts of damage. We do have the Ghost Ogre. We do have Window, which is pretty good. We do have Indigo and Morningstar set up, which is nice. Next turn we're drawing Invocation. This comes back. And can't really do much with this. I mean, we could, like... Yeah, we can't really do much with this, to be totally honest. We can just set it and summon another Blue Sky and just try to OTK that way. And hopefully the Winda and the Ogre is enough, really, to slow them down. We did hit them with an Ash to the turn prior, so that could have also been something to take into account. Now, one other play we could have done, instead of going for Succession, when we went for the Morningstar, we could have discarded this to grab Secrets, and then basically have the 2 Monster Negate set up with the Indigo. It just really depends on what you're playing against and what might be better off. If you have all the Monster Negates or just hard locking them with Winda, it really just depends. Now, like the cards, like with the Mech Knight engine, like I know some builds don't play cards like Succession or like Secrets, and they have to play other cards, which I understand. But like it's turns like this where you just see Mech Knight cards and no Shaddoll stuff and no like Alistair stuff, no Invocation stuff. Or Invoke stuff, I should say. It's where you really need those cards to come in clutch to be able to like actually allow you to play the game. So let's go ahead and move this over here. Let's say that's in that far column over there. And again, if our opponent has had a productive turn, they're going to have more than one card on the field. They'll probably have gone to the extra deck as well. So let's split the deck. Let's draw into another hand here. Purple called by Ibly Desires, so no hand traps in our opening 5, and our 6th is Ash. Okay, I see you, hand traps. I see you. But we did open up Ibly, which is actually really nice. So if we did have to go first to this hand, we're actually like in a really good spot because of the Ibly. This card is so nice because like not only is it like a hindrance for your opponent to deal with sometimes, and even if it isn't, like if you're playing against a deck like Orcust, you can easily clear this after you give it to them. Like that's not a problem. You just have Red Moon just to clear it, or you just side it out entirely for like Artifact Engine. But this card gives you a free column, basically. This one card gives you a free column. That's why I love it so much. But yeah, let's go ahead and like I don't want to start with Desires, but at the same time I do. Yeah, let's go ahead and start with the Desires. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Those back. Trying to always pick up exactly 10. Let's see what we banish here. Invocation, Shaddoll Fusion, another Ibly, Instant Fusion, 2 purples. Not too bad. That over there, and we drew into Meltdown and Secrets. So that is pretty good. So we don't really need the Ibly now. Yeah, we don't really need the Ibly because we drew into Meltdown. But if we didn't draw into Meltdown, we still have it play, which is really good. And I like being able to have not just like solely rely on seeing Meltdown and stuff, because sometimes you're not going to, like we've had the last turn. So let's go ahead and Meltdown for the Invoker himself, the Alistair. Not put that there, but we'll link or summon this. I'm like getting way ahead of myself here. Add the Invocation. And then we'll link our Alistair off into none other than the Almirage, who I'll put over here, just so we don't block that zone again like we did like one of the previous turns. Now let's set this Invocation. Let's summon Purple Nightfall. Uses effect. Banish. Let's grab a Blue Sky. We're gonna summon Indigo before we summon Blue Sky, though, just so we can move the Indigo over and get the purple or the blue on the field as well. So we'll summon Indigo here. Uses effect to slide over to way over there, and then we'll summon the Blue Sky and search for Red Moon. Actually, let's search for Yellow Star this time, since we searched for Red Moon the previous test hand. And then from here, it's pretty self-explanatory. Like what we could do is we could set the Secrets to summon the Yellow Star here, or we could leave this. We could just leave this set. Actually, it doesn't make too big of a difference. Now we flip up the Invocation. Let's banish the Alistair. And actually, before we do the Invocation, let's link first. Let's link these two off into Morningstar. Put that there. Let's use the Morningstar effect. We'll ditch this to grab Succession. We didn't banish it, which I don't think we did. No, we didn't. Grab Succession, because now we get a light monster in a graveyard. We didn't need to do that, but I'm just doing it anyways. Now let's flip up the Invocation. Banish that. And not this. Let's actually banish the blue sky and the invoker. I like to leave the yellow star engraved because if we need to, we can bring it back off of the secrets and then use it to pop back row. I'll just leave that there. Yeah, now I've blocked this extra monster zone here, which doesn't make too big of a difference, I don't think, right now. But now we'll use this to add this back. Invocation goes back into the deck. So we have a follow-up for next turn as it stands. We also have the Purple Nightfall coming back as well. We still have plenty of cards in our hand. Now, right here, we can just link all of these into Borrelsword. Or we could go into this if we wanted to. But let's go into Borrelsword. And then let's just use Succession to bring... That's not Succession. Let's use Succession to bring back the Mechaba. Just like that. And now we're in a really good spot. We have Mechaba and Borrelsword. We have Ash, Alistair, Ibly, and Called By in hand. And we also have our Indigo play set up with the secrets. So that's pretty good as well. We have that Ash too, which I think I already said. But that's a pretty solid board. Could be game right then and there if they don't have the right stop to it. But yeah. Let's go ahead and shuffle up and do one more test hand for this video. I don't want it to go too long. All right, so I've pile shuffled one more time. Let's go ahead and draw into our final test hand for the video and see what we get. Right off the bat, looking really, really good. Terraforming and the Shaddoll Fusion. Let's say we ash them. We have purple and blue. And we're drawing Alistair for our 6th. We have stopped them with an ash. First things first, I'm going to get started with the Terraforming. We're going to go grab Meltdown. 100%. Play the Meltdown right off the bat. See if they hit that with an Ash Blossom themselves, which if they do, it's a mistake. We already have an Alistair in hand. I think it's best to Ash the Alistair itself, at least in my opinion. Then we'll normally Alistair, because if they stop this, we don't get Invocation, which can't hurt. Let's also say this is over here in this column. Like I said, they could have more. It's more than likely they're going to have more than one card for us to work with. And they're in the extra deck as well. Just because, unless they're playing something like Subterror, which is just unlucky, we're going to have a hard matchup there anyways. But from here, let's go ahead and link into Al Mirage. Put that over there. And then, before we go any further, this is probably what I would do to bait out any sort of hand traps. As I would special summon the Purple Nightfall or any, any other negations they might have. Start off with the Mech Knight plays. They don't let them go through, then it's whatever. We still have the Invoked plays and the Shaddoll plays. So let's add Indigo, summon Indigo, and slide it over to right there, I think is good. And then we'll special summon the Blue Sky. We use its effect to add a copy of Red Moon. Like that. And then let's go ahead and link here first, actually. Let's go ahead and link these two into Morningstar, use its effect, discard the Red Moon. Let's grab Succession. Oh my god, I'm spilling cards everywhere. Grab Succession. I think we're going to have 100% OTK right here. Now we'll flip up the Shaddoll Fusion. And we're going to send the Trick Clown and the Beast. It's like that. Now, if they still have backer on their side of the field, we can send Dragon instead of Falco. So that's something we can do. So let's do that. Let's do the Beast 2, Construct 1. We'll draw. And then we'll use this to send. So let's send a Dragon this time. Pop a back row that they might have. Then this will go to the grave. We also get the Trick Clown. So we'll take the 1,000. That'll special summon itself out over here. Now, from this point, we can link all 4 of these into Borrelsword. Or we could go into... Let's mix it up. Instead of going to Borrelsword, let's go into the Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, which is like $70 for some reason right now. Let's go ahead and play Invocation. Banish this, and banish the Alistair, which is in there somewhere. And then go for Mechaba. And then use the Invocation, put this out back in the deck, put this back to our hand. And from here... Well, I guess if we would have made Borrelsword, it would have been better because we have the Succession to use. But that's fine. We'll just save it. Just because we have lots of damage as is. Like I said, we could easily have just gone for the... Let's go for the Borrelsword, just so we can use the Succession. Succession, and then we'll go for the Indigo. Bring that out. Right there. And yeah, that's a really good board right there. We have Construct, we have Mechaba, we have Indigo, we have Boral Sword, we have plenty of cards in hand for next turn. We're drawing a purple. We have purple coming back, so we can get like 2 purples going, which is a lot. It's a lot of stuff right there. That's a lot of stuff. That's a very productive turn. That's sort of like one of the flaws I think though with Invoked is like, and why I like Pure so much better is because like you need to see like the perfect harmony of the certain engines in your opening hand, which I don't know really what I'm gonna do to try to like streamline that, because I like this build, like, especially when you're resolving like Shaddoll fusions and like Mech Knight plays and Invoke plays all in the same turn. I think for starts I might cut this completely out of the deck. I don't know what else I would cut though. Like, or what else I would like add in to sort of like increase, maybe a 3rd Desires, I guess, which I hate playing 3 Desires, but I feel like you need to see the card. Like, you just need to see it at the end of the day just to be able to like increase consistency. So I think I'll probably cut the 2 other called buys and add in a 3rd Desires, and maybe add back in the 2nd copy of Indigo Eclipse, or I don't know, but we'll see. But yeah, either way, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed some Invoked Shaddoll test hands. If you did, be sure to leave a like, and let me know what deck you want me to cover in the next test hand video. I'm going to be bringing you guys some updated profiles that I haven't updated in a little while, so I'll be looking forward to that. And as always, guys, when we kill a send out, we'll see you in the next one.